Hello and welcome to this series of 2-3 minutes episodes in which we will discuss how we can manage our work life, our personal life and the overlap between them. With the line between personal and professional becoming increasingly blurry, I found myself looking for new ways to stay in control of my work obligations, of the daily tasks, of the influx of information, but also at the same time of the personal commitments. For me, the most important one is spending time with the family. The main tool I use for my work is Microsoft Teams. You're probably familiar with it already. It is the main productivity platform in Microsoft's portfolio. It brings together people and resources like documents, files, reports, planners, apps, and so on into one single application, thus enabling you to manage your workload and stay ahead of the daily tasks in a much more efficient way. Let's get practical, shall we? In this first episode, I'd like to talk to you about how I manage to keep my work activities from creeping into my personal time. I usually finish my work with a meeting at 6 p.m. I write a summary email, I grab a couple of tasks from the backlog, I address them, and at 7 p.m. I either leave the office or the room in case I'm working from home. A bit later, 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, a colleague pings me. He asks me a question, I reply, or if I don't know the answer, I'll go back and set a meeting for the next day. Another colleague pings me another 30 minutes later. This makes it a bit hard for me to disconnect from work and focus on my personal commitments. How do I manage to stay in control of that? Well, let me show you. Let's go into the Teams application. I only have my phone with me right now. We go into the Teams application. We open up the settings. And within the settings here, we select the notifications. We will customize the notifications. An important menu here is quiet hours. We'll select the quiet hours and select the intervals at which we don't want to receive notifications from Teams. For me, it's between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. You can also set quiet days. For me, it's the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. During these intervals, as I mentioned, you will not receive any notifications. Going one level up, you can also select the options or the items for which you will be notified. What about emails? Because you do receive emails after hours as well, right? I use Outlook for my emails. You go into Outlook, you select the account right here, and there's a bell next to it. Tap that bell, and guess what? You have the option to set Do Not Disturb times. Same thing as in Teams. You will set the Do Not Disturb hours in the same interval if you like. What happens if you want to spare 1 hour or 2 in your free time to do some uninterrupted work? In this case, I recommend you go into Teams and select either the Do Not Disturb status, like this, which means that you will signal to everybody that you're not available to talk, and notifications will be muted, unless it's an urgent one. More on that in the next episode. Something that has been announced just recently is the second status, which is called offline. It will show you as being, well, offline to your colleagues. So the likelihood of being pinged is reduced. In the next episodes, we will talk about how to bring efficiency into your work to gain you a few minutes or a few hours every day, time that you can use to accomplish tasks during working hours. Stay tuned.